tried. He tried it. What time did it end? I know you were sleeping.
4 a.m. it was over. That's all I know.
That you know for
That
sure.
I know.
What's up?
adding it anyway, so.
And like,
Yeah.
like mine,
I'm now calling to order a regular meeting of the City Council, Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 at 7 PM. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Councilwoman Rogancy.
Here.
Councilwoman McGee.
Here.
Councilman Dwyer.
Here.
Councilman Boyke.
present.
Councilman Lafferty.
Here.
Councilman Noonan.
Here.
Councilwoman Moore is present. We have a quorum.
Next item.
Next item is adoption of the agenda, or the consent agenda. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 5, adoption of the agenda. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
First off, we're adding as item 8A, which will be right after audience participation, resolution authorizing notice of intent and declaring intent to reimburse capital improvement bonds. I think everybody, 10A is approving. Ms. Camp, the note on 10A, this is just approving the special assessment roll. So 10A is approving the special assessment roll. And I think, and then 12A, let me see.
Sorry, Madam Secretary, 10A, there is a public hearing existing.
Yes, but that is,
Required, but it's just a notice that you guys are approving the assessment of the fees to them rolled out.
So do I need to have a full public hearing? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And then 12B is the ordinance, and 12B1 is the pilot program. Yeah, we have it that way, right? Okay. Okay, I think that's it.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair? Madam Secretary, what was 12A?
12A is a legal update.
Legal update, okay.
It's on there already.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought you added something.
12B is just clarifying that that is the ordinance, and 12B1 is the pilot program.
Got it, thank you.
Just clarification, not moving anything.
Anything further? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Everybody has the update from Mary Michaels that she sent us.
The capital improvement?
No. Correct. 13F is not on the agenda? We're adding it? Okay, so we're adding 13F. And that is the addendum to the police commissioner agreement. And 13E was updated, and I think everybody has that, was forwarded all of council, the update, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is yes. Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is 6A, calendar of pending matters. Motion to receive and file with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Yes. On 10/14, we requested all the documents, including drafts relating to the Compensation Commission, Elected Officials Commission, the list of the names, personal information not required. Also, we said not to send the mayor's personal notes. We have received nothing. That was due 10/24. The mayor is in violation of a court order that orders all documents to be provided to council within 10 days. So we'll have to deal perhaps with a show cause hearing or something for those items. They were due on 10/24.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7A, approval of the bills of the General Revenue Fund. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7B, approval of the bills of the water and sewer systems. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is audience participation for agenda items only.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form located at the right side of the stage. You have 3 minutes. This audience is for agenda items only. There is additional time at the end of the meeting for general audience. First is Mr. Watts. Mr. Lux, you're after Mr. Watts.
I'm sorry?
You're after Mr. Watts. He's gonna go first, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
I'm up first.
I heard my name called, that's all I know.
Good evening. I won't take long. I was hoping that Deputy Commissioner Rushton would have been here because I'd like to wish him a happy retirement. I am very disappointed. He should have been the commissioner. With all due respect to Commissioner Hawkins, he's a good man, but you know, the DC spent his whole career here, and he acted in that position. He should have had it. But time goes on, and I want to say congratulations to Captain Dylan Beck as his promotion goes through. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Glenn Lux. Oh, you've got to push the button on the microphone. There you go. No. Still can't hear you. Hold on. Looks like Patrick is working on it. Now it should work. Or that one works too. Thank you.
I'm here to address the situation with the ADA. It's an organization that sponsors regional transit. And if you name every city around us in a circle, they all have ADA support. When I found out that I couldn't get a ride for me and 130,000 people that live in Warren, I started a campaign and researched the situation, asked for the city council's help, and wrote a lot of letters. After doing documentation on my abilities, I got a letter from them saying that I was able to take ADA rights, which means as of right now, out of the 130,000 people who live here, I'm the only Warren resident that has access to this. The council is well aware of my acts, and I'm here today to encourage them and others to find the ways to bring what should be ours to us, period. That's it.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you. That is the end of audience for agenda items. Next item, Madam Secretary.
Next item is announcements, Madam Chair.
Ms. Moore.
Thank you. First off, I did want to mention that last night we had a committee meeting of the whole, and we discussed the Van Dyke Corridor Plan. We're going to be adding that at the council meeting in 2 weeks. We'll do a slight presentation. I just spoke with Mr. Worth. We don't need a public hearing again, but we should have a presentation. That'll give us time then 2 weeks to get all the people that need to be here for that. So we'll be doing that in 2 weeks. Also, Veterans Day is coming up, and for the last, 6 years probably, council office has organized a small service at the Memorial Park, Veterans Memorial Park, and we would like to invite everyone to join us Tuesday, November 11th at 11 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Park, and that is at 27400 Campbell Road in Warren, of course. We will gather to honor and service the sacrifice of our veterans and their families. Please bring a friend, wear red, white, and blue, and show your support. As keeping with what we did for many years, last year I was ill and did not plan an event. And in 23, time didn't allow us to plan something in time, or maybe I think we did something that was very small. But in the years past, we had invited, of course, anybody in the city. We invite the police and fire. As probably many of you know, there are many veterans in both of those organizations, police and fire. And I sent an invitation to Commissioner McAdams. I sent an invitation to Commissioner Hawkins and copied soon to be, or I guess new DC Matt Dillenbeck, sent a copy to Captain Paul Hodes, and they usually will send a car or a truck. I was informed a little while ago that the mayor got wind that I had invited the fire and police department without asking her permission. So this is my asking the mayor. Mayor, I'm inviting everybody in the city, police and fire invited. I didn't think I needed your permission to invite someone to events, but if you're gonna stop people from attending because of that, I am asking for your permission to please invite anybody in the city that would like to come and join us to honor the veterans. So, everybody heard that, right?
Yep.
It's a very big deal for the mayor to be asked permission for us to do anything, send an email or anything else in the city. Today, October 28th, is National First Responders Day, a day set aside to recognize the extraordinary people who run toward emergencies when the rest of us are running away. In Warren, that includes our police officers, firefighter, paramedics, and critically, our 911 dispatchers and call takers who are the true first responders. To our dispatch professionals, you are the calm in our community's most chaotic moments. Your voices steady frightened callers. Your questions gather life-saving details, and your guidance gets help to the right place fast. We see you and we thank you. To our firefighter paramedics, from structure fires to medical emergencies, crashes, and severe weather, you meet every call with skill, courage, and compassion. To our police officers, sitting back here, we appreciate you. You protect our neighborhoods, investigate crimes, and build relationships that make our city safer and stronger. To our CERT volunteers and partner agencies, you extend our reach and resilience when it matters most. We also recognize the families of our first responders, those who endure missed dinners, sleepless nights, and anxious moments so their loved ones can serve ours. On behalf of the Warren City Council, thank you for your professionalism, your training, your teamwork, and your heart for service. Your work saves lives, protects property, and holds this community together on our hardest days. I'd ask everyone here to join me in a round of applause for our first responders, and if you see a first responder or dispatcher this week, please take a moment to say thank you. Your appreciations means more than you know. To all our first responders and our 9/11 dispatch team, we honor you today and every day. Stay safe and know that this city stands with you.
Here.
I have a little something to say about Captain Rushton. And I said much of this before, but I'm going to say it again. It's on our agenda this evening to approve his retirement, once again, under the age of 50. It is with much gratitude and respect that the Warren City Council recognizes and honors Deputy Commissioner Charles Jeff Rushton, affectionately known to many as Flounder, upon his retirement from the Warren Police Department. Throughout his distinguished career, Deputy Commissioner Rushton has demonstrated exceptional leadership, integrity, and unwavering dedication to the safety and well-being of the residents of Warren. Known for his calm presence, tireless work ethic, and ability to bring order and stability to the most challenging situations, he has earned the respect and admiration of his colleagues, city officials, and community members alike. At a time when the department was in flux due to the unceremonious firing of the then police commissioner, Captain Rushton stepped in as acting commissioner, although we don't have acting positions in the city, but nonetheless he was acting, bringing much needed stability and professionalism to the department. While he served in that capacity but was never officially appointed as commissioner, a circumstance that could have been deeply demoralizing, he nonetheless carried out the duties of the office with honor, humility, and dedication to his team and the community. Deputy Commissioner Rushton was known for being a hands-on leader, often attending scenes personally and returning to Warren even after his shift had ended. His visible presence and unwavering commitment to his officers exemplified the very best of public service and leadership by example. Deputy Commissioner Rushton's service reflects the highest traditions of public safety and professionalism. His commitment to mentorship, fairness, and teamwork has left an indelible mark on the department and on the city of Warren as a whole. As he concludes his remarkable career here, we wish to extend our heartfelt appreciation for his years of outstanding service, his friendship, and his contributions to making Warren a safer, stronger community. We wish him health, happiness, and continued success in the next chapter of his life. Thank you. That is all for me.
Any other announcements?
Madam President,
Mr. Lafferty.
thank you. I'd like to extend congratulations and a warm welcome to Sammy's Shawarma. Councilwoman McGee and I attended their grand opening this afternoon at noon, and what a feast. So I'd like to congratulate Amo Sammy and his family, and Rami Youssef and her family, who proudly opened up this eatery today. These individuals and their families represent an economic rebirth in the Mound Road area, just north of 696. And whether or not you're gassing up a vehicle or you need a cool beverage on a hot day to cool the heat, the gas stations there at the corner of Mound and Martin, and the BP across the street on Mound Road there, it now features Sammy's Shawarma. and some delicious food was enjoyed by all of the attendees today, and we had a very nice time welcoming everybody. I was presented with a sweatshirt. Melody, did you get one of these as well? And so it was very nicely presented, and so I've got a large here, and quite a nice event. And so a warm welcome to them as they continue their business ventures here in the city. They've long time, over 20 years of investment in the city, and they continue to grow and invest in this city, and we're very proud to be there and support them as they continue to grow in the city. And Ms. Moore and I and Mr. Noonan was there in the audience this weekend at the Warren Symphony Orchestra's Spooktacular. And what a terrific presentation by the Warren Symphony Orchestra this weekend. So a lot of great music was enjoyed, and so certainly look forward to the Warren Symphony Orchestra's schedule all throughout the year. If you have not experienced the orchestra, I strongly recommend go to the Warren Symphony website and check out the wonderful calendar of classical music that the director has presented for this calendar year. It is a schedule you do not want to miss. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Uh-huh.
Just to follow on what Mr. Lafferty said, the schedule for the Warren Symphony are on bookmarks there on the stage if anybody's interested. And Madam Chair, we need to go back to 8A that I missed.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Mr. Fox. 8A is a resolution authorizing notice of intent and declaring intent to reimburse capital improvement bonds. Thank you, Ms. Camp. Motion to approve.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Madam Chair?
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
If Mr. Fox could explain what we're doing, please, and introduce our esteemed bond counsel.
Good evening, Council. Richard Fox, City Controller. So tonight what we're doing is we have a resolution to authorize intent to sell the bonds, so we'll have a 45-day referendum period, and also an intent to reimburse. So we actually, if you go to the last page, it lists the projects. And so some of these projects are already moving forward with engineering because they're doing the road and we're doing water mains underneath the road. So this resolution will authorize it to be reimbursed because we'll be paying the contractors prior to selling the bonds. The bond issue will probably be looking at selling bonds sometime in late January, early February. And given the fact that, we're looking forward that the Federal Reserve will probably be lowering rates a couple times before the end of the year, I think we should get a decent rate in early next year. And I also have Ron Liscombe from Miller Canfield, Paddock and Stone, if you have any other questions.
Mr. Fox, for those of us that might want to buy some of these bonds, how do we go about that?
Certainly. So good evening. Ron Liscombe with Miller Canfield. Pleasure to see everyone again. So we are planning to sell these through a competitive sale process. So essentially, because the city has a very good credit rating, essentially what you do is just publish notice that you're selling bonds, and different underwriting firms will put in bids, basically what's the best interest rate that they are willing to buy the bonds for you and then resell them to investors. So average retail investors can certainly contact, you have to have a brokerage, so you can certainly contact your broker and negotiate the sale of or the purchase of municipal bonds. They're great investments,
Yeah.
Particularly with the city with a great credit rating. I do have a note here from Steve Burke, your financial advisor. The estimated rate if the bonds were sold today would be about 3.88%, which is really good in the environment for the past year. That's, the best rate I've seen, frankly, in quite some time. So we are expecting the Fed to continue cutting. So I think we'll be in good position to get you, a good rate for these bonds.
How long is it, what is the process? I probably knew this at one time. How long does it take to sell those bonds? What's the process usually?
So what you're approving tonight is the referendum period. So under the Revised Municipal Finance Act, which is the statute that authorizes this type of bonds, you have to publish notice to taxpayers to give them an opportunity to, you know, look at it and see if they, you know, want to object to it. That period runs for 45 days. And if no petitions are filed in that time, you're free to move forward with the bonding process. Running concurrently with that, we'll be going through the rating process. Again, you have outstanding ratings, so that will usually be a relatively accelerated process. Then we put together the marketing materials, what are called the preliminary official statement, and after the sale, the final official statement. You publish notice that needs to be published for 7 days under Michigan law for a competitive sale. So all in, with the referendum period, you're looking at, you know, probably 3 to 4 months.
Okay,
Yeah, so not too bad.
right. I just had no idea. You know, we've done this many times. I just didn't know what the actual process was. Thank you for explaining
Yeah.
that. I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for being here.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And I know that this detail will be in the coming months. What are you looking at the debt retirement service? Are we looking at a 25-year, 30-year period?
So, also from Steve, I think we are targeting a 20-year.
20.
And the estimated debt service, if sold today, would be roughly $1.5 million a year. And these are what's called limited tax general obligation bonds. So they are repaid from your existing taxing authority. So no tax increase.
I'm sorry, that last part?
Yeah, so these are what's called limited tax general obligation bonds. So they're paid out of your existing taxing authority. So there's no tax increase associated with it.
I wanted to make sure everyone heard that. No tax increase.
No tax
You know, okay, that's the part I wanted to ensure we heard. All right, very good. Thank you.
I have a quick question, Mr. Fox. When we met about the new court, we talked about the bonding capacity of the DDA and how all of that fits in. Do you look every year at what we should be bonding out and make those decisions from a financial perspective versus what we're gonna pay out of the general fund for and so on and so forth?
Right. So, and I do, and so these particular bonds are gonna be split up between Joseph Coast Housing, water, and the water and sewer department. So, really not, the city's full faith and credit is behind it, but when we do the accounting, Joseph Coast will pay for its share of the bond issue, which is almost $6 million, and then the balance of it will come out of the water department.
Okay,
And
thank
then
you.
these are all items that were in the budget, so the rates were established based on these items and that we were gonna bond for them.
And you just decide internally which ones you're gonna associate bonds to based on cash, available cash, and revenue and timing, and I assume all of the things.
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I thought I would confirm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? No? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next
Thank
item.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is 10A, which is a public hearing. Request to approve the demolition of a house and garage located at 14217 Marshall through the nuisance abatement program. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. This is placing this is approving the special assessment roll number 545 for the demolition of the house and garage.
Okay. Anyone from the city want to speak on this? I don't see Mr. Lizay. Dave, do you have anything interesting to add?
No, we don't usually on this.
Good evening, council. This house has already been demolished. It's just an SRA.
Thank you.
special assessment rule.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone from the petitioner here to speak? Okay, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to speak on the matter? Okay, close the public hearing and turn it over to council for action.
Motion to approve.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 11A, proposed ordinance amendments to Chapter 2, Article 6, Division 4, purchasing, second reading. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had a committee meeting the whole last night to go over some of the details of this ordinance. It's been in the works for a long time. We passed it in 2023, I believe, early in the year. It was then, we didn't really have enough time to do all the work that needed to be done to finalize it at that time, so we put a moratorium on the ordinance in, I don't know, early 24 or late 23, I can't remember which, but everybody's kind of weighed in on this. Labor unions have weighed in, and the purchasing department, everybody's kind of worked together. So I think everybody is pretty satisfied with where we're at this point on this. I don't know if Mr. Schroeder has anything to add.
Based on the feedback from last night's meeting, I did talk with Ms. Michaels today from the attorney's office about the appeal process and the concern that we're bringing these public hearing appeals to council is something that should be administrative. And I think our conclusion was, and Ms. Michaels can interrupt if she thinks I'm misstating it, but the conclusion was that this is not necessary. So if council wants to just leave let the administrative decision stand without creating a layer of appeal in public hearings, then my recommendation would be to strike the section on appeal, which is section 2-340, subsection I, and then subsection J would then move up and become subsection I. Is that fair, Ms. Michaels?
If I may, Madam Chair. After speaking to Mr. Schroeder, I agree in concept that the appeal should be a little bit more, less formal. But I spoke to Ms. Caitlin, the author of this ordinance, and she thought because of the magnitude of the contract amount and what's at stake, there should be some form of appeal. So I was recommending an administrative appeal through the Director of Public Service, if council is amenable.
I would certainly be amenable to that.
Yeah.
I would accept that amendment
Thank
to
you.
the ordinance.
Anything additional? Okay. Mr. Lafferty, you accept that amendment too?
I do.
Okay. Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 11B, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Warren and the Salvation Army MATS program. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 11C, recommendation of the RFP on climate change to approve and award to Blue Strike Environmental, Inc. for furnishing a climate action plan for the City of Warren in an amount not to exceed $150,000, consideration and adoption of a resolution.
I make a move that we accept.
Support.
Motion by Noonan, support by McGee. Discussion?
Madam Chair, is there a presentation for this evening?
Not that I'm aware of. At least no one notified me.
I'm sorry?
Ms. Michaels, no one notified me of
I mean, I
anything.
think they're, yeah.
Oh, yes. If I may, Madam Chair?
Mhm.
There was an RFP committee for a climate action plan, and the results of the committee, and Councilman Noonan was present. Blue Strike Environmental was the chosen proposal. And actually, they're doing, negotiated a contract with them, and they were very good to work with. They gave an excellent presentation. What they'll be doing is producing an action plan for the city to try and improve the environment. Whatever changes the city could make to infrastructure, the way we process sanitation, they'll make recommendations. What they'll do is provide some free services to the city as part of the proposal. They'll offer what's called a dashboard, and then offer training at no cost. They'll attend, they are not local, they're out of state, but they will make their first meeting in person at their cost. And also have bi-weekly meetings for the city at no cost. And for 1 year after the plan is presented to council, to Planning Commission and council, they will still provide services at the rates, they'll lock in the rates that they gave in the proposal. So if we need them for an hourly basis, the rates are locked in. And Mr. Worth, Ron Worth, will serve as the city's administrator and walk the contractor, and coordinate services, coordinate the administration of their services between the city and the Blue Strike.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you, Ms. Michaels. I read through the project approach, and I guess I understand this is an RFP award, but I really was expecting a little bit more detail, and all respect to you and to Mr. Worth, if we're going to award to them, I would expect to have some sort of additional walkthrough presentation, understanding exactly what are we getting from them. But it left me with some additional questions, and I appreciate the metrics and the dashboards and all of the what we're calling free services for $150,000. But I'm very curious, and I had conversations with other department heads. What are we already doing? And I don't know, Mr. Noonan, if you're aware, what are we already doing with respect to some of the KPIs and the metrics that they're suggesting that we improve? And I'll give you an example. One of them was to reduce mileage or reduce emissions through reducing mileage. And that's something that between city departments that we could do by leveraging online meetings. So somebody from, let's say, Ms. Dordeski is participating in a meeting, and instead of driving from the wastewater treatment plant to City Hall, and maybe Mr. Mazzarelli is at the DPW garage, maybe they're meeting with the mayor, instead of holding an in-person meeting, they're meeting virtually. That's an instant emission savings. That's an instant reduction on travel. That has a number of savings. I don't need a company to tell me for $150,000 that's how we save money. And the other proposals that I've read through here, the installation of solar panels and solar energy, I question where we are a developed city. Where would we install such a solar farm that would provide the required amount of energy to power even one building? And then state standards. They reference state standards throughout. And Ms. Michaels, I'm not expecting you to have an answer for anything I'm saying, okay?
I wrote the contract.
I am making, yes, I'm making, making it known. There are quite a few questions that I'm not sure have been answered tonight. And I'm not saying I'm not in favor of something like this, but for $150,000, they better be coming to us with a lot more than We're going to help you reduce, mileage and emissions, solar farms in a well-developed city, and, you mentioned Mr. Worth is going to be the plan administrator. Mr. Worth has quite a heavy plate of work already as the director of planning. And so I'm curious, do we need a staff add? I know in comparison to Mr. Mazzarelli and the work they're doing on ADA compliance, that takes up quite a bit of time on his team. Does Mr. Worth have the capacity within the planning department to take on the administration of this additional work? And would that be something that we should expect as part of the planning director's budget for the fiscal year 26-27 to be added? So it's not just $150,000 one-time cost with free services. This is longevity cost that we also have to consider going forward in the administration of the program. What does that look like in comparison to what we're aiming to save? And Mr. Noonan, I'm very interested. You were on the RFP committee, and were some of these questions addressed, answered? I'm interested to hear, since we don't have anybody here to really discuss this.
Sure. So, through the president, I think those are good questions. I wouldn't mind having more of a presentation about this by perhaps Blue Strike could come in and give, because they're much better on what all they've done in other cities. But if we take an example of the LED streetlights, which the city has already done, the savings just for the Martin pilot project was $100,000 in 1 year. And then the city is saving money on all the pretty much all the streets have been LED lit now. And that's huge. Well, they're looking for opportunities like that. And there are more that we can expect. What exactly which ones are going to pan out the most? Well, they have, in order to really answer like how that would be likely to pan out, they would need to do the project. They would need to do the plan. And so I would be eagerly looking forward to all the good things that happen on that. But also, for instance, what's happening in Jamaica right now, Hurricane 5, one of the strongest hurricanes for the Atlantic ever, is doing a lot of devastation there. Things, not that, but things like that can happen in our area. And there are things that citizens and businesses can do as well, and that's part of what they're planning on helping us to prepare for what's coming based on science and what's known. And to go blindly forward would be a mistake. But they will help to provide us with the best science. I'm not a trained presenter on that. I could go through different things that I found of particular interest in, let's see, what are they called? The project approach. And they have some estimates of value, costs of different things already, but adaptation measures, financing mechanisms, community outreach, having a climate action tracker, and being able to follow up with further further studies of progress and results, metrics. Altogether, I would say it was extremely well thought out. This was the one that I liked the best out of all of the consultants that asked to be considered. And I believe it'll be a very good thing for our city. So I suppose we could ask for Blue Strike to come in and give a presentation If you have specific questions that you'd like to have them ask, they could probably better prepare in the meantime. But in the grand scheme of things, $150,000 for good insight on this would be a small price to pay, since there probably are savings of millions of dollars that the city could have, or mistakes that we could avoid, working smarter rather than harder. And also, when it comes to the most vulnerable, people who are in floodplains, the people who don't have well-insulated houses, or the money to afford air conditioning when there's a heat wave. People are likely to die, or more people will die than if we had good planning in this category. So it's a public safety thing. There are lots of extra benefits, which I'm sure Blue Strike would like to tell us about. If you will, Mary, do you think that we could arrange to have Blue Strike come in?
Absolutely. I mean, during the course of the project, they are anticipating making presentations to council. If you want them sooner, we could inquire into their availability. They are not local, I'll say that. But they will be here for a kickoff meeting. That might be a good time to present or make an introduction to council.
Well, the kickoff meeting would be if we accepted their...
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
If Mr. Noonan is done?
Oh, sure.
So, I'm concerned. $150,000 is a lot of taxpayer dollars that I'm not sure what we're getting in return. It's outlined, that it's very generic as to what they're proposing, but we don't get to decide we get to decide if it's a good end product or not at the end after we've written the check. And that's kind of where I have some heartburn here. And I can appreciate, Mr. Noonan, your work and the work of the RFP committee. What I would ask, I look at this as a project. This is a city project. And in a typical project, the methodology would call for a discovery period and then implementation. Could we, instead of buying the whole show up front, go back to them and ask, would you be willing to provide a discovery first? Look at Warren and present your case. Don't give us examples from other cities and generalities that may apply to us. The other things I saw that they're suggesting that we have the ability to enforce standards on businesses that operate in the city. I'm not sure we have the jurisdiction to do so. Mr. Schroeder, if you wanted to comment on that, or Ms. Michaels, I'm not sure we have. I don't need $150,000 spent on that to tell me, here's what you should tell the businesses that operate within your city, how they should reduce their gas emissions, and it's a suggestion. Okay, well, right. Ms. Barra, GM, you occupy a significant footprint, reduce your carbon emissions. Thanks for the tip. All right, I've just saved $150,000. So perhaps they could have a metered proposal that would be relative in the number of $25,000, a smaller discovery project, and then if we decide, hey, this is good material, this is something we can work with, and it exceeds what we're already doing, then we go to phase 2. There's another phase that we would then have the opportunity after meeting with them, instead of going all in, all at once. Perhaps we bring this back and part it out. That would be something I'd be more more of a proponent for. But at the way this is structured right now, I'm not sold on what they're presenting versus the cost.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Moore, and then I have something. Go ahead.
So, outside of the, one of the things Mr. Noonan mentioned was, something catastrophic and homes not being built to standards that would withstand something, right? Okay. So we find that out, so what? There's nothing we can do about it, right? There's only so many things that we can find out about. So the plan, they go through it and find things. There's so many, you're talking about, you don't drive as much, you have virtual meetings and you save money. This is not a cost savings, this is not an efficiency study, which we truly, truly need, Mr. Fox. I think you'll agree with me. This is not a way of saving money. This is a climate action plan. Now, there's certain things that could save us money, but there's probably many, many more things that are going to cost us a lot of money. So that's what I'm concerned about. It's okay, let's find out, but where's the money gonna come from to fix all those things that we're told we should be doing? I just don't understand really the whole concept. I mean, I understand it, but it doesn't make sense to me that we're doing it, but.
You finish, Ms. Moore? Sorry. I am supportive of the plan. I think it will, to Mr. Noonan's point, will likely yield some, at least it will be a net neutral item. There'll be something that allows us to save money. I agree with Ms. Moore. It's not, the intent is to try to make the community likely safer, our infrastructure safer, and making sure we're addressing some of these changes in climate. One thing that I thought of, Mr. Lafferty, this is an example, I don't think we would do it here, but one of the suggestions they may make for businesses like ban plastic bags, which we could by ordinance. We could say, Kroger, you can no longer use plastic bags, right? I'm not saying we would do it, I'm just saying that that is one suggestion they could be making that would make an impact on the community, that we wouldn't necessarily legislate here, but they may have a ton of samples of legislation that would allow businesses to be more environmentally friendly and be more mindful of the climate. So I would be anxious to hear what they're saying. I'm happy to support them coming in and giving us a presentation, but I'm very supportive of this and think that it will only yield more information for us on how to best protect from the, storms and weather and permeable concrete and all these other things that are possible that other communities are doing that would be helpful for us to know how we would get to some of those places. So in LA, for example, I have a colleague on LA City Council, granted different climates, but one of the things he's tested in his district is that his district is the hottest of LA, and so he experimented with a pilot of painting the sidewalks a specific type of paint that absorbs heat, and the temperature in that area has dropped significantly because of this pilot, and they're expanding this pilot other places. Obviously, I would only know about this having talked to him, but I think there's probably lots of ideas that we would get from a plan like this. So those are my thoughts. Mr. Noonan and then Mr. Lafferty.
Yes, I'd like to have Mary, through the president, it looks like you wanted to respond to what he was saying. Did you have some thoughts you wanted to give us?
Just a couple of thoughts. I think one of the premises of the plan is to actually try and save the city money. I mean, obviously, there may be some cost to, in the long run, improve the environment, but it's also to improve efficiency and make our processes more cost productive. And I'll be taking a look at how the city operates. And they can include trees and open areas and identify areas where we would yield the most benefit for the environment. And I don't pretend to be an expert on this subject. I just did the contract, and one thing I could say in the contract is whatever target, what milestone they're to reach, it has to meet the satisfaction of the city. And they agreed that they would make adjustments to each product along in the project. And that includes the final action plan.
I agree with that. It seems to me that the conversation has largely been about how the city can save money through either energy efficiency or renewable energy. If it saves money, then we would be likely to do it. If it doesn't, we would not be likely to do it. And that's just the sentiment of the city itself, from what I've been able to get from the committee meetings. Obviously, the finance has to be there in order to do projects that cost money. Some projects, they pay back. They put cash in your pocket after you've done them. Those would probably be the ones that we would be heading for. But also, we can avoid doing things that are going to cost us money by not seeing what's coming at us. And to not have that, not access that knowledge for ourselves and our citizens seems odd to me, but I could see how you could turn it down on what I would call, I'm sorry, a penny smart, dollar foolish basis. I don't know whether, with all due respect, Councilman Lafferty, I don't understand how we would switch from the RFP we've had to something like what you're talking about. It seems like it might be easier to get them to come in if they were willing. They would have to, I guess, bear the expense of that if that was going to happen anytime soon, unless we got them to tell us how much their cost of travel was. But if you're planning on turning down their offer in the end anyway, then that would be a waste of money. So I don't really know where to go from here. I guess we could just do the vote, and if it goes down, then we'll just pass on it.
Mr. Lafferty and then Mr. Boyke.
I'll yield to Mr. Boyke. He hasn't spoken yet.
Madam Chair, thank you. Through the chair to Ms. Michael. Before I ask the question, I just want to make a statement. I've been listening to everything here. I look at this as a climate action plan, but we're talking about saving money. I'm hearing about hurricanes in the Atlantic and painting sidewalks in Warren. What is this? I mean, is this about saving money or saving that environment, or a combination, or both? I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know how a hurricane in Atlantic affects us here. Is there a climate problem? I'm sure the federal government's looking into that. That has nothing to do with us. My question is, this is probably an out-of-state company, correct?
Correct.
When they bid, and I've seen some of the bid proposals come through, not on this particular, but you ask for past references or, you know, what they do. My laptop, unfortunately, I can't get it because they told me to update my password and I don't have time right now. But did they provide any information, what they did for another community by name, what they saved that community in their bid?
Yes, they did represent, they served other communities, I believe 2 in Michigan. Does that
Pardon?
sound correct, Councilman Noonan? I believe 2 other communities
And what
in
was the
Michigan.
advantage to the city? Did they name the
those?
city?
Yes, they did. I believe Ann Arbor was one of them.
I'm sorry,
I believe Ann Arbor was one of them.
one of them. And
Does that sound?
Ann Arbor used this company?
That's my recollection from the RFP meetings. But I believe some other communities have been doing climate action plans. This isn't novel as to Warren. It's a
Mr.
growing
Boyke.
trend.
Mr. Boyke, it looks like in here, it's Kent County. So I'm just reading this so you know. Kent County, they did a strategic plan. They did Capital Area Sustainability Partnership, Lansing, East Lansing, Meridian Township, and then Southeast Michigan Council of Governments Regional Greenhouse Gas
All right,
Inventory.
but was it for climate or was it for savings to the city? Because I'm here, we're gonna save $1 million on this plan.
I'm just
Just
reading them.
reading
Yeah,
what you
strategic
have.
plan for Kent County, Capital Area Sustainability Partnership, Lansing, East Lansing, Meridian Township, low carbon infrastructure planning, and then Southeast Michigan Council of Governments Regional Greenhouse Gas Inventory.
Okay, but they don't say exactly what.
Say it again.
They don't say exactly what they did for the city, though.
The savings.
Yeah, that, it's not here, I'm just, so you know that
Well,
these were
that's
here,
the
yeah.
problem with the bids sometimes, is that we get them and they put that information down, and you don't get to see what was accomplished, you don't get a chance to verify it, and it's easy to do, basically.
And I'm sorry, there's 4 other ones not in Michigan. Scranton, Pennsylvania, Climate Action Plan, Fairfield, Ohio, Sustainability Plan, Orange County, North Carolina, Climate Action Plan, Glenview, Illinois, Sustainability Plan. So, just wanted you to have that.
Well, my question was, like I said, was what did they do for those cities? What was the city's satisfaction or dissatisfaction? Whatever, we don't know that.
Yeah, fair question. Yeah.
I'll yield back.
Madam Chair?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess my final questions, and I'm looking at section 2 of the contract, that, and this is paragraph 1, that a solution, paraphrasing, an implemented solution will be completed in all form that meets with the satisfaction of the mayor and Warren City Council within 12 months of the agreement. Without understanding what target objectives have been set by the mayor, is this something that is on her agenda? It wasn't spoken about during the State of the City. It wasn't spoken about in the last State of the City. And I know of no objectives set by her office directing her department heads to reduce in this space. I think we're underprepared to take this on at this moment. I think this is a good thought starter. This is a catalyst. But I think we're ill prepared to ask them to come in when we haven't done our homework and are prepared to answer their questions. If the mayor thinks this is a priority, then she should be directing her department heads to establish goals and objectives, list out everything they're doing in this space already, and then once we have established that, and are we able to measure, which we should be able to, metrics and KPIs against those objectives. If we need additional help, we can bring them on. And perhaps we do, a discovery ourselves. I'm just not in favor of giving them a check for $150,000 and hoping for the best. I'm really
Madam
not.
Chair?
Thank you.
Ms. Moore?
So, I mean, I'm not gonna lose my mind over $150,000. It's a lot of money, it's paying somebody's salary for a year, but in the scheme of our budget, it's not a lot of money. One of my concerns is, this is another study. We've been studying ADA compliance for how many years now? Since
2021.
Since 2021. So 4 years we've been studying it. We've budgeted money, and I mean, I don't want to say nothing has been done, but nothing has been done. So I'm a little concerned about implementation of any study we do, that we just do study, and then is it not going to be implemented? Who's going to decide which of those things we implement? That's kind of I don't have a problem with having the study and pointing out things, but what I'd like to know is our focus, our city itself, the government, the parts of the city that we own, or are we going to be focused on residential? I mean, I know we need more trees. I don't need anybody to tell me that. We know that, right? But where are we going to get the money to do it? So I can come up with that, and that's simple. I know we can get grant money, but I'm not so sure the grant money world isn't going to dry up here pretty quick. But I don't have a problem with the study going forward. I just don't have confidence that anything they recommend will get done, because we've not been very good at implementation on our plans.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Noonan?
Madam President, I'd like to call Director Worth forward, if you would.
Let's let all us old guys stand up for a minute.
Ron, I was was wondering what thoughts you have for how to resolve the questions that the council's bringing forward. It seems like it's good dialogue. I can totally understand where everybody is coming from by what they're saying. I believe that, for instance, working out what the goals were is part of the plan, and they have a good plan for how to figure that out with the help of the city, with a lot of public comment and input. What's your take on this, please?
All right. My take on this is this. There's the RFP group, the committee that gets together, right? We had a number of people in that group. We established parameters that all of these businesses who put forward their quotes and what they felt they could do for us according to those parameters. And they're pretty strict, frankly. I can't label them right here. I don't have that information. I actually didn't expect to have to talk about it too much. But and Hal, you know this, and anybody else who was on that, and Mary, you know this, who was on that board, we came up with that criteria. And this was the best one, frankly. We worked hard looking at it. We reviewed it. What did we have? I think we brought it down from, I don't know how many, 20 or something, down to 6. And then we, from there, we brought it down to 4. We weren't easy about this with any of these people. Once we hit 4, then we had the discussion via Zoom, and that was on all of them, by the way. It didn't matter whether they were in Michigan or not. And you know, I wanted to tend toward a Michigan group, but these people were the best. Otherwise, we wouldn't bring it before you. It's as simple as that. I don't know quite what else to say. And they have to do an investigation like anyone else does. That's why we're hiring them, to find out what we can do. They're going to advise us. They're not going to tell us right off the bat, here's what it is. It's not, you're not going to get that that quickly. It's not that easy. It is involved. You know, you've got the so-called footprint that people talk about, and this subject isn't necessarily that well understood. But they understand it, and they've been doing it. And the president called out all these locations. Now, we didn't, unless Hal, I don't know if you looked into the background of those particular plans, but we probably could have spent months reading those to see what their results were. But I tell you this, every community has a difference. And the last community near us who had a climate action plan approved, and that's Sterling Heights. And not that it matters, but over the last week I attended a Michigan Planning Association conference in which that particular plan actually won the award for a sustainability plan, except that they actually were one of the groups that wanted to work with us. Well, I'm glad they won the award. Doesn't matter, because we felt that Blue Strike had more to give us than even what they got. So, you know, we weren't just twiddling our thumbs on this. We were working hard. We were having meetings. You can talk to the public service director. He was part of that group, and he understands already what we're doing climate action-wise, if you will, with our buildings. There are things we're trying to do without being advised. I mean, we can pick up on some of those things, but not all of it. And that's where they come into play. And my guess is, because we have such a large industrial base, there's going to be some issues with some of those buildings, and we're going to find out what we can do, if, assuming there are things to correct statewide, and what the laws are. But that's all going to be reviewed, and until they come up with that plan. And implementation, that's probably one of the toughest parts, frankly, is implementation of any of these plans that we're going through. And we talked about that pretty heavily last night, the implementation of the Van Dyke Corridor plan, and I think it's a beautiful plan, that particular one, and but costs a lot of money, of course. That particular thing, that's a whole nother different issue on improvements to this city. But climate action, they're gonna hand it to us, okay? Something that you know, we can feel and understand. And Councilman Boyke, I understand your concern about that. Councilman Lafferty, same thing. I clearly understand that. And when we started out this whole thing, I wasn't quite sure about it myself, but I became convinced over time what there needs to be done, and that's when we came up with a pretty long list of, here, we want you to do this, 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 and this, and this. It wasn't just we said, here, go give us a climate action plan. There was criteria, and they met it. And they went farther than actually with what Mary talked about, with the additional training that can provide us, and that's staff. They'll give training to the staff to identify these concerns in the future. And we didn't see that in these other plans. So with that, that's...
Director Wirth, when it came to Councilman Lafferty's point about possibly needing more staff, at what point do you think the planning department might need to hire a sustainability person?
Well, actually, I think that is something that will come out of the plan. We don't have a true sustainability committee or person who can lead it. You have to get someone who's trained in it, who understands how to implement the plan. And I'm going to guess that that's going to be one of the recommendations, hopefully, and we'll see how that goes.
And in my reading of what they have to offer, part of it is help in grant writing. And so I think it was the most well-rounded view for moving us ahead. And I really liked that part. I know that it's sometimes hard to move things forward. Unless Mr. Rosarelli would like to say something, I think I'd like to ask to just table this for the time being until we can maybe come up with more understandings.
I know Mr. Lafferty had a note, and Mr. Boyke, could you hold?
Madam President, through the chair.
Mr. Dwyer, if you could just hold.
For Mr. Wirth, this climate action plan.
Hold on, Mr. Dwyer, 1 second. Mr. Noonan, if you could just hold your tabling motion.
Sure.
So that these folks can provide. Mr. Dwyer, go ahead, then Mr. Lafferty.
Yeah, one question. Was this climate action plan part of the master plan or no?
It is, actually.
It is?
Yes, it was mentioned in a section in the master plan about the climate and the issues regarding climate action. So we keep following the master plan, and we keep bringing up working on plans and moving forward. I mean, historic preservation, that plan came up. That's one of the first ones that came out of the master plan and what to do, because we felt we could work on an ordinance that would work for historic preservation in the village area and the entire city. So that's an example of what we found. And Councilman Lafferty, you're on the Historic Preservation Commission. You know, you're there for that. And they're doing amazing things, because now you identify what to do. There wasn't a whole lot of knowledge there to, with the historic preservation people. I mean, they're great people, but they needed guidance. Now we have an ordinance that we're working with in that particular thing. That's an example of what we need, is some guidance. We don't, to my knowledge, we don't have any true experts on staff who can guide us about climate action planning and sustainability, that type of thing. We need that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
yield.
Mr. Lafferty and then Mr. Boyke.
Thank you. One last thought, and to Mr. Noonan, the full-time employee that you're referring to, that would be a sustainability officer. And many, large corporations have not only a director of sustainability, but they have a team that helps move in that direction. I guess through the chair to Mr. Worth, from what you're saying, you and Mr. Noonan and others have had considerable time with the content that we have not yet been afforded. And I just want to pull an example from last night. We had, over the course of an hour and a half at yesterday evening's Committee of the Whole, we had a thoughtful, articulate, provocative discussion about the plan for Van Dyke, for the business, for the economics, for middle housing, for filling the gaps. And I think all of us came away with a much better understanding and a much more thorough consideration for how we're going to move forward. I think you can probably predict how that's going to go. At this moment, the only thing, and I would agree with Mr. Noonan, if perhaps Mr. Noonan would agree to move this to a Committee of the Whole where we could have a similar discussion. If we table this, we have a Committee of the Whole, we discuss it in more depth. Let's answer these questions, let's understand the scope, and then bring it forward at a later date. I'm much more willing to do that, because I agree in many dimensions of this proposal. I'm just not sure I agree with the entire concept, how it's articulated. Thank you.
Mr. Boyke, and then I'll go back to Mr. Noonan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Worth, you mentioned, just one simple question. You mentioned when our Madam Chair read off the companies, there were referenced, the cities rather, there were referenced.
Yes.
Did you or anybody you work with in your office or on this ever contact any of those cities and ask them if they were satisfied or dissatisfied with the company?
I personally did not. I did look online to the ones in Michigan. Kent County is pretty big over in the west side of the state. You've got Lansing, East Lansing did theirs, and I did some reading on just the fact that they were very satisfied with the work that was done. I didn't get into the meat of those particular plans, to see, what their concerns were.
I feel that's important to know. So maybe before the Committee of the Whole, if you could contact these, some of these, a handful of these cities and see what they say about it. I mean, we're awarding a bid, and we really don't know nothing about them other than they put a city down as a reference.
That's fair.
Councilman, that's fair. There's no doubt about it, and that was going through my mind to take another, a more careful look at what they've done here, just here in Michigan. We can look in the other ones too, for that matter. There are big places that they worked with. They're well-known in this type of work. So to
I
speak.
know in the write-up, they talk about emissions a lot.
Yeah.
I know it's very premature, but is that gonna affect any of our auto plants here in this city? Are we trying to enforce them to comply with whatever we come up with?
No force.
I can't really address that. Well, I kind of hinted at that, I guess. I'd have to say that if, you know, over time, they get better at what how they want to measure emissions. And we've got to find out how to do that.
Are those
and
emissions monitored by the state right now?
I can't answer that.
Oh, they are.
I mean, I'm
In
assuming
fact, Stellatus was
if
cited.
they're not, there's
Stellatus
something wrong.
was cited for it
Yeah.
by the state.
Yeah.
So
So-
it'd be a duplication of services, basically.
Well, the state has their levels of monitoring. I can't say that they're
We can't be
the
more,
best or
we
the
can't be
worst.
more severe than them, correct,
So
in their
I
monitoring?
can't answer that one.
Okay. All right, we'll find out at the committee of a whole, but thank you.
Madam Chair.
I yield
Madam
back.
Chair. Madam Chair, just one, Mr. Roth, I just want to make a comment to you. It's got nothing to do with this, but I'm going to use this spot. I've had several, today at the Land Bank and several other steering committees where Miss Amanda Micah has been present. She offers very good insight. She seems to really be settling into her role in planning, and she's very pleasant to deal with. I know the past administration, we were on different sides of things, but I just want to make that comment. She seems to be doing a really good job, and she has a lot of really good suggestions in some of the meetings I've been, so just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you very much,
Yep.
and I'm very happy to have her on my staff. She adds to everything that we do. There's guidance there. She's had experience. I've worked with her all these years in a different way, but no, it's working very well. Councilman Lafferty sees her on the Historic Village Commission, that she's working on that, and they're coming up with things, and so anyway, just a few comments there. Yeah, she's doing a great job.
Good.
Very happy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Worth.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Noonan?
you.
Yeah, so to, Ron, to the point that Gary's making, it would be particularly useful to know how other cities have saved money, as well as what damage and destruction they're hoping to avoid
Yeah.
having or have better responses. As I'm reading what their plan is, when it comes to, we have control, there's very specific, we have control, a lot of control over the city. We don't have much control over the residents or companies. On the other hand, when we can offer ideas that are very much in the self-interest of our residents or the companies, then that would be something where we would try to interact with them to help them adopt them where they find it agreeable. I didn't see anything about forcing anybody to do anything. So I'm a little bit
No, but
a little bit taken back. It's like,
you never know. You never know what's going to be.
I don't think
found.
we're kings where we can just order them to do anything. This is still a democracy, as far as I know. Maybe.
Yes.
Mr. Noonan, can
We'll
you?
see
So
what happens.
can you when you're calling them, if you could ask if you're calling other cities that have used their services, Blue Strike services, if you could find out how they've actually been able to save money or how they plan on saving money, I think that would be great. That would certainly be one of my main intents. Whether the mayor agrees or not, I don't think the mayor necessarily has any specific goals, though I think she agrees in general principle that it's a good idea to look out for this.
She's full in support of this. She followed this from the beginning, by the way. So
Okay.
she is very involved in it.
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
good.
Worth. Mr.
I-
Noonan, your tabling motion, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
I move to table this motion.
Support.
Okay.
Mr. Boyke, was your support? Did you say
Tabling?
support?
I said support.
Oh, support, sorry. Okay. I will call the question. Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
No.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
No?
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion is tabled. Next item.
Next item is 11D, request of Oza Cafe LLC located at 28829 Hoover, Warren, Michigan, for approval of a tavern license for beer and wine sales on premises. On premise? I think it's premises. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12A, legal update. Motion to receive and file
Support Lafferty.
in anticipation. Mr. Schroeder?
The legal update today, Council Secretary Moore asked that I speak to what is on the ballot next Tuesday, known as Proposal 2. Proposal 1 is, of course, the police and fire millage renewal. Proposal 2 is a proposal to authorize the mayor to make interim appointments and extend those appointments with approval from City Council. This is a city charter amendment. Of course, the Warren City Charter was written in 1956. It's been amended over the years. It can only be amended by a vote of the people. And the council has a charter review committee, and this committee is met several times and is considering updates to the charter as time goes on. We're finding gaps in the charter. We're finding areas where there's something missing, or areas where there's a conflict with state law or other laws. In this particular case, the charter does not specifically authorize the mayor to make interim appointments to appointive or administrative offices. The mayor has the authority to make permanent appointments, but we notice over time there's been a lot of these acting or interim appointments, and that they're not going through the process of actually being appointed in the charter under Section 7.6, which means the mayor files the appointment with the clerk, it comes to council, and depending on the position, the council has to either confirm that individual or has to be notified of the appointment and have an opportunity to reject it. So this is creating a process where the mayor can make interim appointments, where you're doing a search. So I just heard there's a vacancy in a major administrative position. We've had vacancies, and the mayor can make an interim appointment, but it has to be an existing appointee or an existing city employee to be appointed to that position for a 3-month period. It can be extended another 3 months with the consent of the council. But the idea is, if this person's an interim appointee, that they're searching to have a permanent replacement for this person. It could be the interim appointee or anybody else that the city or the mayor decides to appoint. So the question before the voters is, should the mayor be able to make interim appointments of appointive and administrative officers for 3 months with the option to extend the appointment an additional 3 months with council approval, thereby allowing for interim appointments to be recognized by charter, which it is not now.
I asked Mr. Schroeder to update us on that because I was, the mayor was at a function and people were texting me that the mayor had said this was short-sighted and it was going to interfere with the union and commission appointments. And I don't think the mayor understands what the proposal actually is. This is actually helping her. It's giving someone that comes into office that doesn't come in. Most people come in with a team of people. This mayor did not. And it takes apparently a long time to fill positions. So we are actually giving whatever mayor, it's not just this mayor, but it happened to come up because this was the first mayor that didn't come in with the team. And it could happen again. There could be somebody that is not familiar with government and the employees and people more, and that could happen again. We just don't know. This allows a mayor a chance, 3 months to make an appointment, and then if at the end of that there's none, city council could approve another 3 months. That's just so that nobody takes advantage of over and over and over, just, you know, doing the 90 days. And, you know, we're really trying to help somebody to come into that position so that they're not in violation of the charter. We, right now, very capable, Mary Michaels is being called the acting city attorney. There is no acting position after 4 months for the city attorney. It is under the UAW Contract 35. I believe it's for 4 months, Ms. Michael. You can be acting while there's no city attorney. 90 days? Okay, so 90 days. I said 4 months. It's less than that. So, but there is no provision at all in the city for acting anything. So this will allow for 30 days. Of course, Ms. Michaels won't fall under that because this has been over a year or more. 2 years? I don't know how long, but it's Ms. Michaels should be appointed, and city council is not being afforded the opportunity to confirm our city attorney. The city attorney reports directly to city council, and we've not been given the opportunity to confirm anyone. And that is just not fair. It's against the charter. So this would actually give the mayor 30 days, or 3 months. So anyway, I think the mayor was very confused about what this proposal actually does. So continue, Mr. Schroeder. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to clear.
Just, we just didn't sort of come up with this idea at the Charter Review Committee. I did survey a number of other municipalities, both in Michigan and out of state. And this is a common charter provision to have some guidelines and guardrails on interim and acting appointees. Otherwise, someone could just be named an acting or interim department head. You don't go through the process, and it really skirts the charter's intention, which is that administrative officers are appointed in a certain way, and some need council approval, and others are subject to council rejection. So this is trying to close a loophole. Again, it's up to the voters if they think this is a good idea or not, and we'll find out.
Next item is 12B, consideration of an ordinance to create Chapter 33.7 of the Warren Code of Ordinance relating to workforce housing, second reading. So moved. With discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeder. Do you want to? And I know we have
There's
some folks
there's
in
an
the
update
audience.
presentation from the developer if you want to suspend the rules now and hear that, or if you want to hear about the ordinance first, that's up to council.
I have a couple questions.
Let's,
So-
motion to suspend the rules.
Support Lafferty. Are we gonna vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Rules are suspended. Thank you for the nudge, whoever that was.
Great. Thank you, council. So thank you for the opportunity in the second reading of the ordinance. In addition, so this is 12B, and then our presentation tonight is really around 12B1, but they're linked together. Do you want me to go ahead and just make that jet?
Yep, you're fine to proceed.
Can you speak louder, please?
He's so tall, it's
Sorry
hard for
about
him to
that.
get to the microphone.
Okay. We'll just have to say next slide, So this is in regards to the, our specific resolution around our test parcel. So should the council adopt the ordinance tonight on the second reading and adopt our resolution, I wanted to walk through the parts of the resolution that pertain to our test run. So a couple questions that emerged. First of all, the pilot project will be on the 2 test parcels on Maxwell Avenue. We hope to have those under construction and in the ground by mid-December. We're also asking for an evaluation period on the other vacant lots that are in the southern part of Warren. So just want to talk about that a bit. So next slide. What this will allow us to do is really evaluate each of these vacant lots and kind of a no pressure period for us and for the city. And we are going to go lot by lot and conduct a parcel by parcel feasibility analysis, and then share the results of that analysis with economic development at the city. Should we either pursue those for future, come to council and ask to purchase those and redevelop them, or should we not? We are going to share all that information with the city. So the size, the permit history, whether we think there's a potential basement or crawl space underground still that would limit development, large trees, problem adjacencies, anything like that. So next slide. Also, Councilmember Noonan, maybe you asked about how does the pilot impact tax returns. I just wanted to address that again. That wasn't.
I asked about rent to buy and formaldehyde, and
Yeah.
you answered the formaldehyde really well. And the rent to buy, you said it wasn't part of your business plan.
Correct. I think maybe it wasn't you, another council member asked about how the pilot affects tax revenues. So just
I believe it.
It's
President Rugensen.
Either way, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologize for my
It's okay.
recollection. Yeah. Next slide, please. So the city, just to highlight, the city is currently collecting no taxes on the vacant lots. So those are owned by the city, don't pay tax, and actually spending money. So we, based on our own estimate, we didn't verify this with city finance, but based on what was in the city budget for snow, mowing, and blight control of all the vacant properties throughout the city, we estimated roughly $2,000 a year on that in the South Warren. So right now you're at negative 2,000. We think after the pilot, roughly positive 850. I mean, that's the rough math there. And that 850 is distributed according to the current law, however those mills are distributed to the city, to the county, to the school district. So nothing about the distribution of the millage changes, just the amount goes up. Next slide, please. So in our pilot resolution for our test parcels, we're asking for a 4% service charge. So that's 4%, what the tax, basically the charge we pay that gets distributed in lieu of the ad valorem sales tax, or property tax, it would be 4% of our rents, basically. So why that amount? So if you go to the next slide, there's two reasons we settled on in our exploratory phase here. One, just a nearby neighbor, Ferndale, adopted a 4% service charge with their workforce pilot recently with a resolution on a multifamily. This was passed in November of 2024. So that's just a benchmark. That doesn't obligate you to do anything. That's just a reference point. But for us as a developer, if we go to the next slide, really it's about the math. So if you follow me on this chart from left to right, on the left is just a visual representation of the current return that is achievable for new construction in South Warren that's really unacceptable to private capital, because if you look, it's only slightly above what the current 10-year treasury is with a risk-free rate. That's just not enough risk-adjusted return to attract private capital for new construction development. We know that from being in the market. But as we move along to the right, when we do introduce the pilot service charge, the workforce pilot, that's a large increase in the return. That's very substantial. So that combined with the maintenance reduction for the new construction, that gets us to something that's much more attractive and really achieves what is required for a private capital return to build new housing. So that allows us to do that without any public subsidy, to do that in the private market. And I think Mr. Schroeder made a point in his package that the mayor of Detroit last year, when he was advocating for this program in Detroit, said this is about competitiveness. We agree. We think that given that this is a state law now and other jurisdictions, Grand Rapids, Ferndale, others in Southeast Michigan may begin adopting this, there will be a competition for capital, and we think that Warren can win that by having a competitive service charge. Obviously, we're interested, self-interested in that because of our project, but we just wanted to highlight for the council, this is the math we see, this is the logic behind the 4%. I think that's it for now, and take questions if we have it.
Thank you. Given that the rules are still suspended, can we do a Q&A at this point, or do we go back on and then?
You can do it now.
You can do Q&A
Yeah,
during this?
yeah.
Okay, great. Ms. McGee had some questions, I know, first. If anyone else has discussions, go ahead.
Thank you. My question is really to, maybe Mindy can answer this, Secretary Mindy. I don't know the process as far as when you get investors or those that are for land banking, what is the process of choosing an investor? I don't know what that process is with land banking. I just, I've been contacted by other contractors say, I would like to get on a land bank, and what is the fair process in doing so? How do I get on this list?
Well, so we started a little in with this project, but our land bank has no money.
Okay.
So we are not able to do any investments at this point. We can work with the state, and we can be sort of a conduit for grant money, and we can do some things with brownfield, and we're gonna be able to do things like that. But at this point, there's really nothing we can do except grant some sort of brownfield once we have our own committee, and maybe Mr. Schroeder could answer it better.
I had not met Spear. Don't
Right.
get me wrong, you seem like a good person and doing the right thing, but I had not met you up until the last
Right.
city council meeting. I don't know if you were part of a list of other investors, or you were just chosen just.
This is different. They came to us.
Okay.
They were ready to, we weren't out looking for anyone. So somebody that comes to us with the money and the great reputation that these people have, they already have a really good reputation in the city. They've got 90 properties.
Okay.
They pay their taxes. They take care of their properties. We were there one day, and I think I made the joke that they were bringing his tax payment, and they said they had to get a wagon to carry in the money.
So
Because they had so many. So they, and Spear is highly financed, and, you know, we knew that going in. That was done, you know, through the.
So he contacted the land bank and.
No, they contacted the city. The city,
I got-
you know, Mr. Bomber.
I can give a little bit of history because this has been going on for a little while. I think they were in contact with the city administration and Mr. Bomarito, correct? And so we started working with them. This is not per se a land bank project, okay? It was inspired in part by the land bank, but the land bank is not involved in these two parcels at this moment that are being put as a test run project. The land bank took some action earlier this afternoon that will come to council probably in November that might allow others to use the land bank to take advantage of some incentives in the land bank, not money that we have in the account for the land bank now, because like the land bank chairperson, Ms. Moore, said here that there's not much money there, but we were contacted by the state land bank last week. They want to work with us. That's going to be coming next month. But what's before the council tonight, there's no official land bank involvement in this. This is an ordinance that's going to allow for this pilot payment in lieu of this development team has met with the legal department, the assessing department, the planning department. I may be missing some. I know Mr. Mazzarelli has looked into them and gave a report late this afternoon that was very positive. So, and as far as how they choose investors, you can ask them how they choose their investors, but they are investors themselves, my understanding is, and they are also managers of their company that do a lot of interfacing with City Hall. So we felt comfortable, I felt comfortable recommending it, knowing that they're a well-known commodity in the city. They've been around for 10 years in this market, and in fact, Mr. Mazzarelli emailed me late today that they had a great reputation and checked on their properties and so on and so forth. But that's sort of the background and how they got here. We started working on this, and it required a lot of work. So we have a whole new ordinance here. We have a resolution. I know they also work with economic development. I see Hunter is here. I know Hunter's been very involved. Hunter put together a large list of vacant properties for the land bank in July. A very long list of, the city has a lot of scattered vacant lots throughout the city. We were a little bit overwhelmed. So it was really great timing to have the Spear Development Partners knock on the city's door at this time and say that they have a viable plan to develop infill housing, affordable infill housing, workforce housing in this part of the city. And so they've worked with all these departments. They've worked with the administration, the land bank, the council. And so I think at this point, there's very low risk in trying out 2 parcels right next to each other on Maxwell, see how it works. And we'll come back after this. If council approves it tonight, we'll come back. And you see there's a long list of properties here at the end that they will have an option on. But keep in mind, we're not just holding these properties for this group. They're going to be doing due diligence on these properties. They're going to be checking and seeing if these properties can be developed. They're going to invest in some engineering work on these properties, civil work, to see if there's obstacles to building. And they're going to share all of their findings with the city, okay? And if there's some properties that can't be developed, then maybe we can put those properties in the land bank and get grants or find land bank money or resources to overcome those obstacles, whether it's a blight problem, an underground issue that would need a blight elimination grant from the state to take care of. So, and this is a 120-day period that they're going to look at these properties, and we can come back.
Would this list be available for other investors to look at?
Well, yes.
Because
yes.
other investors said
Yes.
they could not get this list, but yet.
Well, I don't know who that would be, but
Who
we have.
would they go through to get this list?
Well, this list is a public record. It's all the city-owned vacant properties, okay?
Okay, so they can go
And-
through the office, administrative office?
Well, first of all, let's take a step back. There's a large list of, I don't know, 300 or 400 vacant properties in the city, okay? This is from that larger list. Anybody in the public can get a copy of that list. These are homes that may be developable for single-family homes. There's a 120-day period here. If there's somebody that wants one of these homes, and it's right in the resolution, if a qualified buyer seeks to purchase a parcel, we can release that to them. It's right in paragraph 4 of the resolution. So
I'll
give some
got
that-
a couple more questions,
Yeah.
if I may.
Sure.
My biggest concern is that these are properties that are gonna be built in the south end. And I know we talked about this before, because I remember, when Councilman Lafferty said to Faye Baker on her project, what can we do to assure that these are not rental properties? As we know, in the south end, they're looking to own property. This is gonna be rental properties. And so, according to this statement here, whereas these vacant parcels are located within the neighborhood enterprise zone, so they get the abatement for the properties, but says homes for own occupation. So, will there be a separate NAS, abatement for rental properties created? These are not owned properties, these are rental properties. He's not turning from rental to buy.
Well, these are vacant properties right now, yes. They're vacant.
So, but they're rentals, they will be rentals.
Well-
He's getting abatement based on this saying that you have to own them. They're gonna be owned properties. So
Nope.
he's gonna be the owner as the investor?
Well, someone has to own it. They're going to develop the property. They're going to own the property. They're going to invest and bring the property, build a home on the property, right? And they will own that home. And this workforce incentive, this is from a state law. The state law is requiring them to be rentals, right? It's the Workforce Housing State Statute Pilot Program. It's for workforce housing rentals. Workforce housing is for those, as we explained at the last meeting, is for those who, there's a lot of people out there, they make money and they make too much money to qualify for subsidized housing. But the money that they make isn't enough to get affordable housing. So it's called the missing middle. And this particular project will allow the missing middle to get these brand new homes and pay rent. Yes, it's a rental. And we are working with the State Land Bank to help people like Ms. Baker coming up to be able to take advantage of something similar through TIF, but that's coming next month, but that's a separate issue.
So some of these things are new, that are just allowing developers that have just come from Lansing because they know we need to deal with this workforce housing. So somebody that's a police or fireman would qualify. That's the income level that it addresses much
That's why
more
I'm
than it did before.
concerned about it going from rental to, why can't we go from rental to buying?
Because that's not what the law, where they're giving the incentives right now. Because right now, nobody can build anything at market rate unless they're given incentives. And one of the things I learned at the land bank, I had my own opinions about things, about rentals, and I realized and was told by many people across the country that there are a great many people that don't want to buy a home. They want to be in a rental home. And for this being an absolute brand-new home, granite countertops, open concept, I think that's very exciting for somebody that's renting a home to walk into a brand-new home. And our problem with rentals here in the city in many instances have not been renters or the process of being, or the term rental home, but we've had bad landlords and we've had properties that are in absolute disarray. And we're starting now with a whole new housing stock. And I think that's what the state recognizes, and that's what they are trying to promote. Now, at the end of the pilot, whenever that ends, the property can be sold. But during that period where the state is giving these incentives, it's a rental. But after that, it is something that could be sold, as I understand it.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
We could sell it to an owner at any time, and we would love to do that. We would love for that to make business sense for our business plan and for our investment thesis at some point, and that would be great. And if at the point that happens, we will pivot and do that. But right now, the way the market is, we've been investing here for well over a decade, 12 years. You know, we've been waiting for that for a long time. That hasn't happened yet, but when it does, it may make sense for us to exit out of the rental housing and sell to owner occupants.
That's
Absolutely.
my concern, is that we will have on the south end, I know on the south end, a lot of people are looking to own.
Yeah,
It may not
absolutely.
be everywhere, but on that south end of Warren, most of the people tell me they're looking to own a home. I don't want a bunch of rentals in that area in which they cannot purchase. They want to purchase a home. And I think it's better for the city. It makes us look better for us to try to bring an investment property to the people of Warren. And it helps us as a city. So I hope it can work out that way. I just don't want a bunch of, I understand we can be in great rental properties that looks great, but do they own it?
We agree that owner occupant housing is very stabilizing for the community and want to do that. Right now, the market for sale housing does not exist in the south end without subsidy for new construction. We've looked at it at every angle, and in order to do it without subsidy, it just doesn't work. So our hope is it's been great because there's been this confluence of a lot of different factors. One, the land bank formed and kind of sent up the bat signal to developers and investors that Warren was ready to do something about that area. Two was this new pilot law in 2022 that really has just started to become adopted around the state that allows for this workforce housing pilot for rentals. Three was the vacant lots. That list has been available for many years. We've watched for many years. We bought the 100 parcel auction property in 2015. had 2 years to fix up those properties. We often wondered what was gonna happen to the vacant lots. That's been on the website for many years with the NEZ. That has been a growing problem. And then the last thing has been the modular innovation driving down construction costs by 30%. So when all of those things combined, we came back to the same group we did the 2015 tax foreclosure auction deal with, which was Tom's office and Mary, and reached out and said, hey, what's the city's plan? We saw the land bank, what's the city's plans for the vacant lots? We'd like to take a crack at underwriting, putting new construction rental housing there. So that's really how this came about.
Any additional questions, Ms. McGee? Mr. Noonan and then Mr. Lafferty.
Yes, so Councilman McGee was pointing out, and I guess this would be a question for Mr. Schroeder, in the resolution authorizing workforce housing pilot test run project, the third paragraph, whereas many of these vacant parcels are located within the neighborhood enterprise zone, NES, known as Patriot Place, a program through which the city offers parcels for $150 to buyers who construct new homes for owner occupancy, and provides up to 8 years of ad valorem tax abatement. But this is for owner occupancy, but what they're saying is it's going to be renter occupied. So is there a conflict there or isn't there? If there isn't, I like the project.
That's
I'm
a
not-
separate
I'm not
program.
against the project.
It's a separate program that overlaps this. So we
Oh.
just did that for background because there's an NEZ zone in the city.
Okay.
And that's a neighborhood enterprise zone, okay?
Yeah.
And it's called Patriot Place.
That part doesn't apply to them.
No.
Oh,
no,
okay,
No,
great.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was just part of the background of what area of the city we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
this was
thank you. I just
this
wanted
is
to
sort of the
clarify that.
recitals as we're leading into the
Okay.
conclusion here.
Thank
It's a
you.
good question, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is just.
So
I
this
yield.
doesn't apply to,
No, not exclusively,
This
it
is,
does not apply.
this is another program that's available in the same area that's separate from this. It's just describing that these are parcels located within that zone, okay, known as Patriot Place. There has been a pilot program available in Patriot Place in the NEZ zone since 2017 or 18 with a 6% pilot payment. 0 homes have been built, 0, since 2017. This pilot ordinance has been on the books. It's like a forgotten ordinance that nobody's taken advantage of to build these homes. So this is pivoting to something different. So we're changing the amount of the proposed amount of the pilot payment, and we're going to a 2022 state law that updated this type of incentive, a pilot, for workforce housing. So the reason that's in this resolution, and if you want to strike it, you can strike it from the resolution. It's just a background piece of information to let you know where these vacant parcels are located and what other incentives are available in that area. What it didn't point out, and I'm sorry about that, is that this other pilot ordinance, which is still in our code of ordinances, has not been used by anybody to build a home in that area. 0 since 2017. So
It's a shame.
we're trying to do something, pivot to something different with a new state law that was passed. And keep in mind, 2018 to 2022, the world changed a lot with respect to housing. So.
Okay.
Mr. Lafferty and, yes, anyone else?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through the chair to Ms. McGee, there's language in here that refers to the restrictive covenant deed. And Mr. Schroeder, correct me if I'm wrong, that is our standard template that we engage with anyone that is purchasing a lot from the city, and it has our restrictions on that, what you can and cannot do with that property. And one of the provisions of that deed is that you cannot rent for less than 12 months. And so, okay, something to that effect. And we had that change. It was with Ms. Michaels' help for other projects that we wanted to ensure that we weren't turning over brand new homes, brand new properties that were constructed into short-term Holiday Inns.
Okay.
All right, nobody wants a Holiday Inn next door to them. So we didn't want to have somebody renting for a month and then the next renter comes in, the next one. It was geared towards ensuring, even if there was a rental, there was some stability in who was renting, because you would have to sign up for nothing less than a 1-year period. Now, in this case, maybe the covenant deed will be modified, but in that case, I wanted to bring that out. The other part, and I brought this up before when CDBG has talked about building a home, and I've got the vacant lot up here on the screen. We're getting nothing out of it right now. We're absolutely collecting no tax. If we bought this lot and built a home, we would automatically lose, and this is his business case, we would automatically lose 25% off the top. It's the equivalent of me asking Mr. Schroeder to write me a $100 check, and I'll give him his investment back of $75. You can make that check payable to me at any time, by the way. And so this is much different. Now, my question, Mr. Schroeder, where are we establishing the 4% pilot fee?
So this is a recommendation, okay? And the 4% basically came from talking to the developer, looking at what other communities did. The city of Ferndale landed on 4% last November for a 72-unit multifamily housing building with commercial on the first floor near their downtown that spurred a $23 million investment in Ferndale. And they went to 4% of the rents for that pilot payment. Detroit has gone as low as 2%. Our existing ordinance in Patriot Place had 6%. It resulted in no investment. So we're trying to find a sweet spot here that will spur the investment and still bring money to the city. I let the developer, I think they explained in their presentation about the economics of this and you know, what type of incentive it's going to take to get them to spend the money to build these homes and rent them. And you know, they're going to be audited too. So part of this process is the ordinance will be audited and ensure that they're following the ordinance, the restrictive covenants, and the resolution. And you know, we talked to Grand Rapids, Detroit, other cities. We had online Zoom meetings. We didn't burn a lot of gas, Hal, and drive across the state to Grand Rapids to have a meeting. So we had a great meeting with Grand Rapids, and we learned a lot. And what we learned from some of the other cities was that we wanted to streamline this process and we wanted to regulate but not over-regulate. We wanted to create an incentive, but we also wanted to make sure that the city is getting money for its services and police and fire. And we also wanted to take these vacant lots off of the city vacant rolls. I mean, there's hundreds of vacant properties. They're sitting there. It's a charge on the city, you know, to cut the grass and, you know, do other maintenance and respond to issues there. So, I mean, it's really a proposal, the 4%. So the developers here, if you have further questions, we went back and forth. You know, there was a negotiation here to get it to council, and you know, I feel comfortable with it, and you know, certainly the council, it's up to council.
And Mr. Schroeder, just for clarification, what I was asking is the 4%, it's under the resolution, so the ordinance is establishing the ability for us to create the workforce housing exemption. The resolution establishes the criteria for the exemption, establishes the term and the service charge, and Patriot Place was set up the same way. The service charge is in the Patriot Place resolution. The service charge is not in ordinance. Okay, all right, that is what I wanted clarification on. I have no other questions, Madam Chair.
Councilman Lafferty, just to be clear, this ordinance is going to enable anyone else in this area, not just this group. Anyone else in this area that wants to come forth can get their own resolution like we have here. So each project is going to have its own resolution. So if someone comes forth with a viable project, the city can review it and council can pass a resolution creating a workforce housing pilot project, similar to what we are asking council to approve today. So we're also aware of, there may be a few others in the works where it's not a percentage. There's different ways to negotiate this fee. There may be another one coming that we're negotiating a specific amount over a certain number of years. So there's different ways to do it. The most common way is this percentage, and this is what we've benchmarked in other communities, and that's how we came up with the 4%. We were glad that we had some other benchmarks to look at, so it gave us sort of a comfort level in coming forward.
And I'm sorry, I did have one more question.
Go ahead, Mr. Lafferty.
The 15-year term, how does the assessing office know, how are they going to track that the term has expired? So in 15 years from now, how will they know, okay, we're done collecting the pilot charge, it's time to start collecting ad valorem taxes?
I think that the assessing department has all capabilities to do that. We do brownfields, we do other types of tax incentives all the time. 15 years is a common time frame. My understanding is they have the capability in their system to set this up and monitor it. And on the 15th year, I'm sure that you know, the system will know that is expired.
Okay, so 2040, set your calendar.
Madam Chair?
Thank you.
Ms.
Madam
Moore.
Chair, just to respond to Councilwoman McGee, we do have a program that should be starting, I'm surprised it's not already started, but the down payment assistance, we've got $5 million for that we'll be offering, based on income, $25,000 for down payment assistance, and those are non-rental, those are owner-occupied. One of the things that, you know, I've learned what other land banks are doing around the country, and one of the things I would like to do, and a lot of people are doing it, it's really, to me, one of the best things you can do, is they're building duplexes and only selling to one person. So then the person that buys has an income already, and it works out that it ends up paying about 3/4 of their mortgage. So they're building equity, and not just they have a business, or sometimes it's a family member. Somebody's got an ill family member they want close or whatever. So I think that's gonna fill a need in a lot of places, and that's what many of the land banks are trying to do. But the fact is, nobody is building in these areas where these vacant properties are. They've been vacant for a long time. We haven't even put any of the vacant property in the land bank because there just may be no point, because nobody's interested in all of those properties there. And you can't make somebody build a house that they're gonna lose money on. And right now, I haven't talked to one builder or developer that can build a home and not lose money in this market, in the area we're talking about. It just can't be done. CDBG, every time we build a house, we have to sell it for less than it's worth or what it costs. The land bank will be able to do that at some point once we have the finances. That's one of the beauties of a land bank. We can spend $200,000 on something and we can sell it for $150. But developers and people who are in this to make money can't do that. So we're looking at, we do have a lot of good things. We have, you know, I think there's what, 4 projects right now that are going to be very, very positive for the city coming forward. And each one is a little bit different. We have to offer different incentives for each one. We have to look at our zoning. We have tiny lots that I want to see tiny houses that I think the land bank could do, and that would be fun. So, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities. Not everything's perfect. We're doing the best we can, and trying to get these properties built on, because a bunch of vacant properties, it just is not good for the city. So, thank you.
If, may say one thing. If we're successful with all the construction that we'd like to do, we have grander plans than the two. That combined with phase project, I really think could reshape values down there. I think we will have a potential for a self-reinforcing cycle if we put a lot of new construction, whether it's rental or not, down there. You're suddenly going to have comparable sales and new construction that is really gonna uplift that South Warren market, which may help us achieve, you know, an owner-occupant exit, if you will, in the future. So when you start to build new, it starts to change things, and I think Faye's project's gonna be transformational. We just talked to her before, and I would say, I know we're having this list. We talked to Faye last week, again, right before the council meeting. You know, if she wants to, we'll coordinate with her. If she wants some of those properties to develop in the future, absolutely, we're gonna work with her to do that. Really supporting her, cheerleading her. Her project's gonna be a big anchor for the neighborhood, and so I guess that's the point, is that all that new construction's really gonna create a cycle of positive cycle. We're
Thank
counting
you.
on that.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, I will call the question.
Okay, we're back at,
Yeah, I was gonna say, do I need to, it was a discussion that bled from suspension of rules. Do I need to go back on? Oh, we're good, okay. So Ms. Moore and Mr. Lafferty had made the original motion and support for 12B, so I will call the question.
Oh, just one second.
Yep.
It's, 12B is the ordinance.
Right.
We had a couple minor changes that the council
Okay.
has.
Do you want to restate them, Mr. Schroeder? And turn your microphone on, there.
From the first reading for the ordinance, this is the second reading. We had a couple of additions, which included on the restrictive covenant that each property is developed in compliance with all applicable building codes, permits, and ordinances, and each property is maintained in accordance with the City of Warren property maintenance codes. No short-term rentals must be the tenant's primary residence. No growth, cultivation, or distribution or processing of marijuana on any workforce housing property. And in addition to that, we added a provision, this was Ms. Michaels, thank you, Ms. Michaels. Notwithstanding this ordinance or the restrictive covenant, the city reserves its police powers under the City of Warren Code of Ordinances and may pursue its remedies and penalties for violations at any workforce housing unit, including the right to issue blight violations under Chapter 2.5 of the City Code. In fact, all of those changes came with working with the City Attorney's Office. Thank you for that, and I know that these are all good changes. So we will, this is for the second reading of the ordinance, and then for the resolution, there will also be a minor change or addition as well.
Mr. Lux, unfortunately, you can't yell from the audience. It's against the rules. Sure, thank you. If you could have a seat, I'll certainly see if Patrick, I can't see the screens, but if there's anything that can be done. Sorry, now I've lost my place here.
just call a vote. I think it.
Sorry, makers of
We're
the
good.
motion comfortable with Mr. Schroeder's amendments. That's where I
Yes.
was at. Thank you.
Without objection.
Thank you. I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12B1, consideration and adoption of a resolution authorizing workforce housing pilot test run project. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore?
Yeah, Mr. Schroeder.
Again, thank you to Ms. Michaels for some revisions to this resolution, and that would be under resolved paragraph 3, entry upon a, this is an addition, entry upon a property and conduct of evaluation shall require the developer to indemnify and hold harmless the city for any injury or damage, restore any damage to original condition, and add the city as additional insured in written undertaking that meets satisfaction of the city attorney's office. And then under paragraph 4A, Ms. Michaels recommended striking one phrase, partial reimbursement of documented costs.
Thank you. Makers of the motion comfortable with those amendments?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Where is the partial?
That is in 4A.
I don't see it.
this one, yeah. I sent a red line version, and I think what got printed was, this was redlined out in 4A, so you're not seeing it on your copy. But in the original version that's published online that the council had, there's a phrase in 4A that says partial reimbursement of documented costs.
Okay.
So what you have is the version where the red line was eliminated, so.
Without objection.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chairman.
will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Can I make a motion for a 5-minute recess?
Sure.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
5 minutes, thank you.
Okay.
You see them all?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
She called me and told me.
She could come here and ask for stupid money and build houses. To sell. It's good. We just amended this to put that on marijuana, so you put that, if people are so concerned about land, just say if you wanna build a home, you promise us you won't rent it out.
That's what I'm saying.
If she's doing a good job, more responsibilities,
Like that, that's still, I'm gonna talk to them.
that person should get that raise.
Rent is a rent with option. Family's there for 10 years.
I agree.
There has to be a time when they've made their money, that she could sell it to the
Makes you wonder about, who's gonna be.
That's what I.
next man.
Oh, I don't know what you like. But the way Jeff said it, this is only one country. We gotta find someone that'll.
Willing to do that.
Yeah, you know, I'll look around too. I didn't know that Faye was the one that came to us. I liked her.
She,
She
her
was
homes
very
are already
informative.
sold.
Yeah.
She built her homes, they're already sold. But I'm not talking just about that. I'm talking about moving forward, we want to have a fair process in which investors will come in and get homes. But we need that, I don't want to entire south side, a little more homes, and then we have to wait 10
To be honest with you, when I walk down there, they complain about all the rentals. That's where the problems go. In fact, the one problem I had in my neighborhood was a rental.
And that's all I hear.
That's the thing,
In the
'cause
south.
the owners don't care a shit about their property.
They say they don't care about their house, we don't want rentals. You know, and these are new properties, they may take you, but they may not, but they want rentals.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of pockets, there's a lot of pretty houses. I was impressed.
I live that way, and I'm telling you, it's a lot of properties, but they're owned. You gotta think about it, the people want to own it, but they gotta get built. Gotta get built. Where were you yesterday? Are you feeling better?
Bragging. I'm covered in the west coast South Street. I'm surprised I'm home from Milwaukee, because they're 4 hours behind.
Yeah, what's the
People, the bosses out there got leave.
I didn't miss what you wanted to have, what you wanted to say.
No,
Good.
it's,
You did? Yeah. All right, we are back.
Council Secretary, next item.
Next item is 12C, Councilmember Gary Boyke, discussion and Ray ADA grant.
Madam Chair, there was a lot of confusion of the ADA grants that was appropriate through Congressman James' office. And I've been trying to get information on it. Late this afternoon, I received a couple of phone calls from department heads, and now I'm going to sit down with them within the next couple of weeks and go over the paperwork. It's confusing. I think we can get it straightened out, and I'd like to table that to the next meeting.
Okay.
Support to table.
So a motion by Mr. Boyke and support by Mr. Lafferty to table. I will call the question. Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Item is tabled to the next meeting. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, so you had an announcement.
I had
correct?
an announcement earlier, but I didn't want to cut you off when we went to the next item. If it's possible, I'd like to say it quickly right now.
Go for it.
Okay. Last week, Councilman Lafferty and myself attended the trunk or treat that was put on by the Parks and Recreation at the Community Center. We had a great turnout. Kids were very excited, I think along with Councilman Lafferty and myself. The prevailing costume, I believe, was a princess. And between the police and firemen, I think there was 2-to-1 police costumes over fire this year. There were a lot of Spider-Men, and our engineer's office came as the Addams Family, which was pretty unique. I'd like to, special thanks to Casey, Denise, and Leslie for their participation in putting that together. I'm sure there are other employees that were involved. I'm sorry I don't have your names, but thank you all the well. Same. And also, I don't know if Captain Dillenbeck wants to say anything, but with Halloween approaching, I know there's some articles in the paper. Do you want to say anything about the scanning of candy or anything, or just quickly?
Yeah, we got a problem.
It'd be the last time I call you Captain anyways.
It's, Mr. Boyke, we can't, it's not really an agenda item.
Okay.
So we can maybe take some suggestions from Mr. Dillon, if you want to text.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Boyke. Next item.
Next item is 13A, request of the legal department for an increase in budget appropriations in the amount of $75,193 to add a new position titled Court Legal Administrative Clerk. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
13B, request for reappropriations from the fiscal year 2025 DDA capital funds to fiscal year 2026 for items and services not completed by June 30th, 2025, in the total amount of $8,021,253. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
13C, request of the police department to approve the retirement of Charles Rushton prior to age 50.
Support Dwyer.
No.
You have to make the motion, because I certainly will not make it.
So motion by Mr. Dwyer. Support anyone?
Support.
Support Ms. McGee.
Discussion.
Discussion.
This is the second time we've done this. A couple of years ago, Mr. Rushton was going to retire, which would have been his optimal time to retire, as I understand it, but chose to stay because he loves this city. He grew up here. His heart is here. He gave everything he had for this city. I don't think anybody in a command position has ever worked harder certainly at that level. You know, so many times I heard him on the radio at night, different situations. You know, I was told about many, many instances where he was able to calm situations down. He just had that way about him. Mr. Boyke, you will remember, we had a little controversy up here in the last term, and he came up on the dais, and everything was handled in a very calm and orderly manner. He just had that way about him. I think that Matt Dillenbeck will do a great job. You know, I've watched him. I think he's a wonderful police officer. I don't have any qualms about that. And anything I say about Jeff Rushton is no bearing on how I feel about you and the job I think you'll do. But I think we should have done everything we could to keep Rushton here in this city where he belongs. We're bleeding police officers, and it's very difficult to hire them at any level. And I really think it's a shame that we didn't do everything we could to keep him here. And there were some ideas floated that I think it could have been done, and it wasn't. And I think that is a extreme failure on the part of the administration not to make that happen. We cannot afford to lose good police officers. We just can't. So, that's all I have to say about this. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Lafferty?
Through the chair to Mr. Schroeder, is the vote on this particular motion, does it have complete force and effect tonight? Or is this eligible for reconsideration?
And I defer on that and check the reconsideration rule. It's not coming to me immediately. I think it's not reconsiderable, is my
Yeah, 'cause
instinct on that.
I think he could take his pension money. I think his pension has been approved by the pension board already. Whether he's taken the money out, I suppose it would have been a done deal. So once a done deal, we can't reconsider, so, because I would reconsider. Well, I'm gonna be in the minority, so I'm not gonna reconsider, but.
So this would be an ideal opportunity to say, you have 3 days to, reconsider, come back, we'd welcome you back. I feel the same way as Councilwoman Moore so eloquently stated. So if there's an opportunity to bring him back in some capacity, I strongly urge the mayor and the administration to make every effort to do so. This is a loss to the community for certain. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
No.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13D, notice of appointment of Matthew Dillenbeck to the position of Deputy Police Commissioner and the appointment of Gregory Booton to the position of Police Captain of Investigative Services Bureau. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
I am very excited about these appointments. I think they're very good appointments. Deputy Commissioner Dillenbeck, I think you'll do a fine job. I've gotten to know you over the last few years. I have the utmost respect for you. You're Captain Booton now, right? I don't know you as well as I do Deputy Commissioner Dillenbeck. It's hard to get used to saying that. But I hear great things about you, and I'm sure you're going to be very successful. We wish you both success, and we hope you're safe every day, because I think about that every time I hear something goes on. I worry about all of you. So I just hope you're safe and very successful, and congratulations.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, congratulations, gentlemen. I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13E, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving the memorandum of understanding regarding benefits and employment terms for Deputy Police Commissioner Matthew Dillenbeck. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13F, addendum to memorandum of understanding regarding employment benefits and terms of a police commissioner. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next, Madam Chair, if I might, before we start the next item, we are 3 weeks for council meetings. Our next meeting is canceled because it's Election Day. Our next council meeting will be on November 17th. 18th. I'm gonna see what you wrote.
It's the 8th.
It's not the 11th?
No,
11th, we're
Veterans Day.
closed. It's
Okay.
Veterans Day.
It's the 18th.
Okay, thank you.
The 18th, whatever that Tuesday is. Next item is audience participation for general topics.
Members of the audience who would like to address the city council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form located on the right side of the stage. You have 3 minutes. This is for general topics. First up is Gary Watts.
Got a couple things this evening. First of all, thanks to Ms. McGee about no more rentals. When I was on council for 4 years, all of the blight complaints, all the crime complaints was from rentals. We should learn lessons from surrounding communities where rentals destroyed the communities. So, you know, the more home ownership we got, like hearing tonight that there's some down payment money for people if they want to buy a house, it's all good. Secondly, we've been working on Common Road between Hayes and Shaner since March. There's been weeks at a time that nobody's working, period. The last 2 days, they could have been landscaping. Nobody's been out there. Last week, there was 3 days there was nobody there. This should have been done the end of September, and here we are going into November. And all I get is snippy answers when I send an email to engineering, so we probably need to tighten up on these projects a little bit. And lastly, since you guys can't really say anything up there, remember, everybody, vote yes. Ignore all the negativity out there. Vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Glenn Looks. Is it Looks? Sir, can you pronounce your last name for me?
I'm Siri.
Siri?
Sorry, I don't know why Siri heard me. Can you pronounce your last name for me?
Yes, it's Laux.
Laux, thank you. Apologize.
O-U-W, it's like, used to be Fouts.
Got it, okay.
It's Laux.
You have 3 minutes, Mr. Laux.
Lion Circle West is a part of a projection over 7 years. They paved 3/4 of the circle and did not do ours because we couldn't pass the PACER test. 2 years later, they came back and said, okay, we're gonna pave your portion of the street. And we found out that it was gonna do it in asphalt. So we had a petition, and we did that petition, and we won it, and we brought it to the board, and they decided that we could do it if we waited 2 more years, and so we waited 2 more years. They just done that project 3 years ago today, and within 1 week after the concrete was poured, it started deteriorating. So now I've initiated a no petition that will go to the mayor this week for all 40 participants in our neighborhood to give a ballot to them, to her, to make sure that this happens this time, because when you pour down that kind of cement and you have a little bit on top that doesn't make it, they're gonna have to rip off the whole darn road, and that's gonna cost a lot of money and a lot of hate. I asked the council to make sure that they ask the mayor about these petitions that are being mailed in today from all 40 of us residents, so that this happens this time for good, rather than for something that lasted two or 3 days before it fell apart. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Next is Joel Vanderlinden, and after Joel Vanderlinden is David Metzler.
Joel Vanland, longtime Warren resident. We need something like when they have these speeches by the different political groups. you have someone that comes on after the president or after someone and speaks about all the lies, mistruths, and stuff like that. We had a mayor State of the City address. Besides treating all the citizens like they're third graders, we should have someone on there saying, no, that's a lie. No, that was done by the Fouts administration. No, she had nothing to do with this. No, she had nothing to do with the fire stations. No, she had nothing to do with the water thing. I mean, it was one thing after another. She's taking credit for shit she had no part of whatsoever. It's really, why have a State of the City address if you can't talk about anything you've done? I mean, why not be truthful? I sat at my desk, I ate peanuts, and I didn't do a damn thing. We lost more businesses than I put in, and I'm not worried about it. I collect $150,000 a year, and you suckers are paying me. That's the State of the City address. Let's cut through the stuff. Now, we had spent an hour last week and an hour this week on these houses. My wonder is, are they on 40-foot lots? Are they on 60-foot lots? You know, because we had an ordinance not too long ago about the lot size and stuff. And it was
1 minute, Mr. Vanderlinden.
Ms. McGee, you surprised me. I thought your comments and questions, whatever, were spot on. I know we don't see eye to eye on many things, but I thought your comments were spot on, especially about the ownership. Now, I did a study when I was a director of property maintenance in 2017 that went into the fact of, about rental homes and homes that are owned, whatever. And you could always tell a home that was owned because it was pride. There was hardly any property maintenance issues. And if there was, one little write-up to them to remind them, and it was taken care of, and we didn't have the problem for the rest of the year.
10 seconds.
What?
10 seconds.
On these homes that are rented out, there's problems with the backyards, all the high weed grass and stuff like this, and it's not on the contract. Who can go in the backyard and cut it?
You're at time, Mr. Vanderlinden.
Nice job, well done.
Thank you. Have a good evening. David Metzler.
David Metzler, District 5. I had some comments. First being, Lori Barnwell has the right to appoint new employees to her office. She has been in office for 10 years. She has run her office brilliantly, saved the city a ton of money, and established new investment accounts that previous treasurers hadn't even thought of ever. So I just want to make sure that's stated. Second reason I'm here tonight is because of my City Center Square neighborhood. There are pieces of debris from the staging area that's currently in our courtyards. And basically it is joints, spacers, whatever you want to call them, they are there. And it's becoming blight to our properties. I've tried to be very patient with the city. Mr. Lafferty, you and I have talked about this issue, but this staging area is not zoned to be a staging area. I understand that 13 Mile construction needs to get done, and Lord knows I favor it. But having equipment running all the time, disrupting my neighborhood, the workers started at 6 a.m. this morning. People trying to get to sleep. I have health conditions that make sleep difficult, and this is only exacerbating my issues. There are pieces of concrete that are left at this site that have been torn up and not removed, and it's blight, and it needs to stop. So I am begging and pleading on behalf of my neighborhood that this debris gets taken care of. Final reason I'm here, and I know that a lot of people will not agree with me on this, but I am against this police and fire millage. I think it's time to stop the Warren's wildest police chases, and we need to confront the fact that we've had record lawsuits in the city. And voting yes only assists in the mismanagement that's going on in the department. And now there's embezzlement with the Explorer Group. I don't know if, I'm sure all of you have read it in the news. But I am tired of the mismanagement and the abuses within the police department. It's embarrassing sometimes when I tell people that I'm from the city of Warren. And there needs to be something done. So I'm begging the residents, it's okay, you can vote no, I'm voting no. Have a good evening.
Thank you. That is the end of audience.
Next is council response to audience.
Hearing and seeing none. Next item.
Motion to adjourn.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Good night.
Thank you.